Hello, I'm Kit, Lady Kitt, also King Kit, and I'm an artist. I'm based in Newcastle. I do 3 things basically. I do paper cutting, and I do research, and I do performances. And I know that sounds like a bit disparate, but they're sort of held together by exploring ideas of social functions of art. All of those tools are just used to kind of explore that, really. I do loads of different things, but one of my big projects at the moment I've been doing for about 2.5 years maybe. It's called Worth, and it's a series of £50 and $50 notes that have portraits of amazing people cut into them. And that started because I heard about, there's a journalist called Caroline Criado Perez, and she was campaigning to have more women on banknotes, and she had the most horrific abuse, awful online abuse, like death threats, rape threats, absolutely just horrendous. And I was really shocked by it when it happened at the time, and just sort of kept thinking about it, and always thinking, oh, I really want to do a project about this, I really want to do something with this. Never quite got around to it, and then when the first Nasty Women exhibition happened in the UK, which I helped to organise, about 2 weeks before it opened, everyone was like, oh Kit, what artwork are you gonna do? And I went, oh shit, I haven't done anything. So I decided that I would start my project and I would do a banknote. So I did my first paper cut banknote for that exhibition, and it was really well received, and it was bought not for that Nasty Women exhibition, for the next Nasty Women exhibition that we held. And I thought, oh, I think this is a series. So since then I've done, I think there's just 12, 13, maybe 14 in the series, $2, and the rest are pounds, £50 notes. In the last US presidential elections, there was a televised debate between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, and during, I think there were 3, but during one of those, Donald Trump called Hillary Clinton a nasty woman, and loads of people in America sort of took up that phrase, and kind of turned it into I guess something to be proud of instead of something to be embarrassed about, and saying, yes, she is a nasty woman, and she's a nasty woman because she's standing up for women's rights, and she's standing up for herself, and she's standing up for all the things that people don't like about Trump. There was on Facebook, an artist that I follow called Roxanne Jackson put out a call out saying we're going to do a Nasty Women exhibition, and it's to raise money for Planned Parenthood, and because Trump was threatening to defund them, which he has since done. So I saw this on Facebook and I was like, oh yes, that looks good, because I think being in this country and looking and seeing what was happening in America, it felt like, what the hell can we do about any of this? It's absolutely crap, it's awful, I'm so disappointed with the world that this is happening, but what can I do? And so the opportunity for the exhibition came along, and I was like, oh right, yeah, I can do that. So I made some artwork and sent it off to New York, and then I went on holiday and I just didn't really think about it, and I got back and there were articles in The Guardian about this exhibition, and it had been a massive success. I think it had raised $42,000 on the first weekend. Yeah, so it was really an astonishing thing to be involved in, and after that I was like, oh, what else? What's next? What else can we do? And decided to do a Nasty Women exhibition here. So at the time I was artist in residence at Biker Community Centre, which is in Newcastle, and I said to Ali Smith, who's the development manager there, but she's also an artist, do you think we could do like a Nasty Women exhibition here? She's brilliant. She was just like, yeah, that sounds amazing. So again, Facebook put some call outs out, and another amazing woman called Michaela Weatherall got in contact, and she was like, I really want to do this. So she came, and luckily she's a curator, because like Ali and I are artists and I have no clue how to like make an exhibition happen really. So Michaela came, and she was like, oh yeah, I'm a curator, which was brilliant because she actually knew how to make it work, which we didn't. And so we held that exhibition in April, I think, 2017, and it was brilliant. It was a really great event. Hundreds of people came to it. We raised a good few £1,000 over the course of the exhibition. And then since then, our local group, Nasty Women North East, has gone on to arrange a Nasty Women conference. Roxanne Jackson, who started the movement, came over from the States to speak at that conference, and Echo, whose work I've just been showing you up there, she came over and she spoke as well. And since then we've been involved in lots of exhibitions all over the country and all over the world. I think pretty much these days, so maybe for the last 2.5, 3 years, something like that, I think all of my work has had some kind of activist element to it. I mean, it depends how you use the word activism, doesn't it? Because like that means lots of different things for lots of different people. So I guess some of it's like Nasty Women stuff and the Worth Project. But I suppose some of it is maybe, you maybe wouldn't actually call it activism, but it's definitely working towards creating change in some way. So quite a lot of the work that I do is about social practice, which is basically just artwork with people, and quite a lot of the work that I do is about how to make social practice work better, for artists, for practitioners who are making it, and for other people who get involved. So I guess I wouldn't necessarily say that, oh, that's activism, but it's definitely using art tools and techniques to try and make things better, I guess. I think for a long time I was very resistant to making work that was about me at all, made work that was about things that were sort of important to me in a much wider way, but not like actually directly referencing myself. And I think it's more recently that I've started making work where probably other people who see the work will be like, oh, that's actually about some of Kitt's life, as opposed to just something that I feel really passionate about. Yeah, I guess maybe the performance work is probably the most autobiographical. So I have a character called King Kitt. So that's a drag character, a male character. And he is this sort of really confused guy who thinks he's super PC, but is actually pretty toxic. But he's kind of adorable. Like, he's a complete arsehole, but also he's sort of bumbling around, like trying to do things right and never really managing to make it work, really. And that character has come out of people who I really know, and sort of observing like just the dreadfulness of toxic masculinity and how that affects so many people in so many different ways, and really what a revolting, terrible thing it is. And for me, being a feminist has always been about making things fair for everybody, and it's never been, oh, got to make everything fair for women. I just think you have to make things fair for humans, and I think there's loads of stuff about being a bloke that is awful, and I think society can treat men really, really badly. So that character is it deals with a lot of things that I think are important, but it does also directly draw from people who I know in real life. I trained as a performer when I was younger, so I kind of think about an audience a lot, and I particularly think about mostly making them comfortable, although sometimes making them uncomfortable, and so I consider what the work is going to look like for an audience and how they're going to experience it. But developing the work I think I get a lot of personal stuff out of that. There's a lot of thinking involved, so quite a lot of the developing the work is actually not sort of rehearsing or performing or trying on different looks or whatever. It's actually just going for a big long walk and having a big think, which is lovely in and of itself. But I think quite a lot of what I get out of that character is having had permission to be more masculine, and to think about what gender actually means to me, because I guess for a long time I thought, again, this like it's a bit of a theme, like thinking about big ideas but not necessarily exploring exactly what they mean to me, and I guess it's the same thing with that character, that for a long time I thought a lot about gender as a big wide thing, and a political thing, and I didn't think a lot about what it personally was to me, and I think probably developing that character has given me some really great opportunities to think about that. The thing about now being a drag king is that people now ask me about it, and people never did before. People just assumed my gender and I just let them get on with it. Not in a sad way, just like, well, that's fine. And I think that now that I have this character that is very obviously kind of playing with and exploring and fucking around with gender, people now kind of feel that they have permission to say, oh, so tell me about your gender, and people just never did before, and that was fine. Like, I was fine with that. Yeah, so it's relatively new to talk about it, but not because I sort of felt, oh God, I can't talk about this, but just because nobody ever asked and I didn't feel any like burning desire to chat about it particularly. Yeah, so I think it's definitely allowed people to kind of approach me about it, and I guess because of that, you know, I talk about it more and then I probably think about it more, so it's like a self-perpetuating thing, isn't it? Yeah, it's probably increasingly important to me, but I wouldn't say it's like, yeah, it's not an enormous part of my identity. I'm not really sure if anything is. Like, I think all the things that I sort of consider to be part of my identity are, yeah, they're all variously important, and it's fluctuating as well, isn't it? And sometimes, you know, being a mum is like the most important thing in my life and the thing that I identify as and with most, and then sometimes it's being an artist. Yeah, so I don't know, I think it's probably relatively low on the scale, but it changes